Me to move from that stuff to trying to say, it brought me back to myself. So I think once we just need in the same.
Greetings all. Already a second episode of House of Sankofa. Igama lami Paul Mnisi, umnisi wemvula. Ukwadla kwadla mafumba fobela umthamo nyembezi induthwana zimfuna phansi amaphela athi luto ntombi zimfuna ukiss noma ehamba noma wakhe. Second podcast do like and subscribe, and as we did inform you that we are in partnership with Hustlers Corner. This particular platform will eventually breathe its own life, but we're partnering up to just get it out there so that at least you figure out the ways and means. Zaga Mnisi wemvula. Namhlanje we've got a special guest with us, Yonela Mnana, a jazz scholar, a student who's working towards his PhD. Very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Yonela Mnana. Siyakwamukela Yonela. And great to have you here. It's been a while since we've had a chat.
It's been quite a while. Yeah, I'm glad that you guys invited me and looking forward to it.
It's good to see you, Mnisi.
Yes, it's good to see you.
Umnisi wemvula.
Umnisi wemvula. Ukwadla kwadla. Untombi zimfuna ukiss noma ehamba noma.
Noma ehamba noma.
Uyahleka uYonela yambona.
UYonela ngijabula ukubona dala ngagcina. Ngiyabonga.
Yes.
No, mina ngihleli nje ku background angeke ngidisturb. I'm just looking forward to being a fly on the wall and just absorb the knowledge and the music and just the history. I'm just looking forward to this great time.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. I mean, just taking you within the South African jazz spaces and traditional ethnic music, as it were. And I'm just fascinated, to have this scholar of music, who's traveled far in his musicality. Visually impaired, he is Yonela Mnana, and has been ever since his birth, coming out of the Eastern Cape. But what I think really tapped into that musical spark, Yonela, was Pretoria. Bagtata bagulahlele Pretoria le boarding school.
Well, in fact, no, yes, I did it in Limpopo.
In Limpopo, yes.
Ugogo had to come and teach and move from the Eastern Cape to come and teach. Remember, there was a shortage of teachers.
Yes.
So they would get anybody who was good up to standard 6. And then after the teachers' college, she came to Pretoria. And then there were only 2 blind schools actually for black people.
Yes.
So ngaya khona lapha Petersburg. That time it was Petersburg.
Yes.
Yeah. Can realize I'm St. Petersburg futhi.
The St. Petersburg in Russia, isn't it?
Yeah. So, but
Yes.
bang pontela laphana, because I think they didn't really have a choice. But I think it was a good thing, a good sacrifice that they decided to do.
Did you immediately immerse yourself in the music, mawufika lapha?
Well, I don't think about it like that. I think in the way music has been a cumulative thing. Because studies say to a person hears sounds even before birth. So I think we have been immersed in sounds a long time ago, in advanced. So, I mean, and South Africa is so much replete with musicality that it's harder to even choose this one area. Like you're saying, with Pretoria, my melody already is very suggestive.
Oh, yes.
Siyazi, that story of Malombo, Philip Tabani.
Yes.
Towards even Don Laga. Yes.
Yes.
And a lot of them. And myself and all this other. I remember growing up that there were festivals, People didn't even need to fill up any dome because everybody was full already that time,
So no dome needed to be filled up?
No, they filled more. They filled their home,
Yeah, Bomretile, I remember
Bomretile Park, yeah. And
yes,
Yeah, you know, and it's amazing that Phela Moretele, remember, is a river. So music was really played by the water already. So that flow, the flow of sound and the flow of water to the people, we were nourished, I think.
Spiritually, we were nourished indeed. But I mean, coming out of that, I mean, you know, jazz sort of became the love of your life, and you've, dare I say, mastered the piano to a certain degree. I mean, you know, you went into some jazz, a bit of traditional, into classics before we started shooting. Just, you know, your scope is so wide, it's unbelievable. Yonela.
Well, I think, I mean, jazz in itself is a scope in itself. I don't think it's an option to, you know, so I like it because it mirrors our experiences as South Africans.
Yes.
The cosmopolitanism that has been forced onto us is mirrored through jazz as a medium that fuses anything that is possible.
Because it's improvisational, isn't it? So you use a space like somehow, as jazz dictates.
You know, I don't know. I think jazz, perhaps as a blind person, it's something that I would understand, to be able to navigate areas that are not really meant for you. You know, that's improvisation at its highest level.
I see.
You know?
I see.
I mean, just to have this thing and to, you know, to make music out of it is an incredible thing. And I mean, you can hear that. That's why our people behind the already that sound. There's so much meaning in that. Just that little thing.
Also sort of, you know, Princess Makok.
Yeah. Even I'm not even, but I'm fascinated by that. Remember, our music. If you look at our instrument of that, you can only have 2 notes.
Wow,
but that was enough already.
Yeah.
Because Ukumbule, we didn't have sound pollution that we have. Now we've got things in the background just by default.
Yes. And
So-
not rivers per se. As
you
you
know,
were mentioning.
yeah.
Yes.
It's like you know. So I mean, just back to what you were saying. I don't think about my playing of the instrument as mastering, but I think I have gained its acquaintance, so
Yes.
to speak. It's almost like I managed to. I'm teaching myself to manage to navigate how I feel, you know, through my hands and by using this piano as a medium, you know, to try and get through a specific sound. So, it's been a journey. I don't think anybody could ever master it, but I think we can master, you know, how we filter the sounds through ourselves.
Yes.
And to be more listeners than players of the music. I think that's really the master.
And spiritually, Yonela, where does it take you? I mean, someone described it as almost isangoma nominyanga may lahlela matambo, because I mean these are ebonies and ivories. So somehow, when you play, do you find yourself, you know, just being taken, you know, to places spiritually that was tola? So kita no koko mhlambe somewhere.
I think, I mean, obviously, you know, the language around spirituality is so vast.
Yes.
In itself. I mean, people have, I mean, from Abdullah, the way they describe his spirituality, to Keith Jarrett, and to our own people, even as back as I mean, as Art Tatum or something.
Yes.
Or even taught Majigiza.
Yeah.
So for me, it's an experience, man. I think it's just spiritual, even just by allowing whatever the energy that is just to go through. So I think it can only be spiritual. Sound can only be spiritual because it's something that you can experience without having to see it.
You talked about it being the source somehow, and you learn of it being the source by, you know, narrating to us or to me the interactions you've had. No Babu Hebitswari, who's just you know, who is a master in his own right. And I was asking you, how was the experience of being part and parcel of his latest project at this point in time, he calls it?
Yes, I think. I mean, for me, it is. It's not even just this work is a culmination of my experience with him for a long time. They were our school, him and Yonela Mnana.
Yes.
We used to go when I was still at West. We used to go at that place called the Calabar. Now it's 44 Stanley. So, and every week we would go and just listen to jazz in a way that we have never and we will not experience through listening to American music. And to be blessed like that, I think, has been an experience that I would never ever forget. It's like, it almost felt like we were experiencing a parallel university.
Yes.
And every time after those gigs, I would have to go back to school and practice, even if it was around 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. Those guys gave off themselves like that. So that experience with him, to be able to admire him and eventually get to play with him,
Yes.
it's an unparalleled experience. There was a time when Steve Gwena had a place called the African Freedom Station.
I remember. Where was it again?
West Dean.
West Dean, yes.
So
lovely space that it was,
yes,
yeah?
it was a
space.
very multidisciplinary kind of thing, because there was visual arts,
Yeah.
there were poetry, there was what they call it, Jersey House of Poetry. I think.
Yes.
And so it was a melting pot of sorts. So Rahebi had and him and even President Mnisi.
Sydney Mnisi.
So
Cool.
every week they had jam sessions, and I think the person that they used to jam with, because it was a thing that the elders were doing.
Yes.
So I came there every week and week after week to hear, that bass and that saxophone played like that every time, and for them to allow me ukubheda amid that space and to learn is a privilege that one can never pay for by any kind of NSFAS amount that you would dream of. So to eventually come to a point in time, I was actually explaining to someone yesterday, I think what I learned from Braheves is to receive more than to give.
Yeah. How so?
Because we've been taught to want to play, to want to improvise without. We were not taught to understand and to allow ourselves to be in the water of the music. We have been wanting to be doers without understanding and receiving what that act means to us and to the people around us. So it taught me more to listen. It taught me more to realize the meaning of what it is that says less is more. So because most of us, we have been duped into understanding versatility as the ability of just doing everything, but sometimes just a single note, you can. Already is a lot of improvisation.
Yeah. It pulls at the emotions, doesn't it?
Yes. I've got a song called a Solo Journey.
A solo journey. Let's hear a bit of it, please.
I'm thinking it's like well, I'll explain to you.
Hey ubaba. Ungamyeki.
Hamba ngizula yonke indawo kodwa ngimbona ubaba. Hamba ngizula yonke indawo angimbona ubaba. Ngiyakufuna angikutholi. Ngiyakubheka ngikuboni. Ngabe uyasithanda thina ngoba siyakuthanda baba. Asazi ushiyele kodwa siyakuthanda baba. Siyakudinga baba, siyakuthanda baba.
Yay. And of course, that song, a very personal song to you. 2016 album, I think it was your debut,
Yes.
entitled Ubaba.
Baba, yeah.
Why is it so personal to you, Yonela, that one?
Well, I mean,
specifically?
you know, there's so many levels about the idea of a father figure.
Yeah.
But especially as Africans, Ubaba is a figurehead. It's somebody or leader, somebody that is necessary. Because without any leadership, that nothing's going to happen. So the search for Ubaba happens in so many ways.
Yeah.
I can only think at least on three levels of Ubaba. Ubaba as a biological person who must take care and provide. And the similar thing also, there is a search for that kind of leadership politically.
Yes.
Whether it's kings, whether it's presidents, but we seem to be fatherless somehow, because the people that lead us don't seem to be providing for us but themselves.
Yes.
And of course, the search for father, goes to indaba of searching for umdali, searching for that,
Yes.
for that connection. So the indaba yokubheka ubaba, impacts on us in so many ways that if we don't have that idea or the experience of fatherness, how are we going to become fathers ourselves? Because it means we're going to be pulling it out of thin air,
So we need to change now this narrative. And I mean, of course, you'll hear of fathers having left the rural areas, to come to Egoli when Yonela, and that's how black families somehow, have been broken.
That's why I was about to say that I feel that we have to also be able to apportion the blame where it lies. The idea of racial capitalism is really principally to blame, because when you start coming to people's place and destabilize the system of how they practice their lives,
Yes.
and get them to come, and there's the sad part about it. It's not the fact that they've come to Johannesburg and other cities to work. Other races have come to Johannesburg to work, but they came from different positions.
Yeah.
I've never heard about a black man who came to work on the mines as an owner. Other races came as people that abazoqasha without them having money. They were trusted they were given insurances and whatever, just without even having to qualify for anything. Bafike ba-owner bangakatholi negold.
Thina bokumele singene emgodini sigule from the dust even.
That's my point. The story said to Sokuza of us being urbanized came already. How can somebody think about it? A person that comes to a gold mine who finds work from someone who has not even gotten the gold. I'll give you 4 rands per week.
Yeah.
Any gold you find is mine. But he hasn't found it. That kind of relationship
Doesn't make sense, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't. But I mean,
When you actually think about it.
when you think about it, I think that's the business model that has been structured by a lot of capitalists all over the world over the years and over the decades. And even in the recording industry, even in construction, even in the mining sector, obviously mining being the one that has been the longest.
Yeah.
Even in the manufacturing space, including cases like Nkosana.
Lower Vodacom.
Yeah, please call me.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? This is how much I'll give you, but anything you create here is mine.
is mine. And it's funny. It means someone has a system that is going to impose on you, and your years of early education are spent in you desiring and learning to work within that system. That there has to be a problem somewhere there.
Because the system also dictates that you learn from it, and therefore you'll be a better worker for it. That's why
inkinga education iqala lapho ukuthi what do they call it? Philosophers, they say there's a teleological kind of inclination. The aim yakhona, it must be done for a specific end goal. So sifundiswa for a specific end goal of wanting to be part of the system and to love it and to perpetuate it. That is a problem about education. It's not for us. There's a poem Sankofa was actually reading Guti.
Yeah.
Why would I want to belong to someone who is not for me? And who doesn't cherish my goals, who doesn't want to see me become my better self. And that's the system that's happening. Except, of course, for politicians that want to tell you how they're going to make your life better when they don't even know you. There must be something wrong with that. It's like the thing with advertising.
Where was Ramaphosa, Yonela?
Angimazi nami. I don't even know him.
Yes.
And yet you understand even kwa yona leyo system ukuthi Why? Who told us that democracy was for us? Kuba no fike wabona ukuthi lebe sinayo wrong wafaka le enye. And it, like Upratsu was saying, even with the music, there's a book called what is it? Black Music, White Money.
I see.
Kuyinkinga lento yokuthi why, I did a record with these other guys from Europe, and I realized, masi sonke thina abalayikhaya. Why did it have to wait for this guy to unite us, for us to be great? Because we were willing to do our best, Marakon.
Yes.
Mara, we can't unite and do that thing for us.
But alone, niba nama egos. Ngeke ngisebenze nalo.
Because as guys, we have never been each other's boss.
Because we've been taught to be what we are, I guess.
We have the only idea of us, uba ne boss, ubasa ngisho. Manje ngeke kube nobasa omnyama. You understand? So we have not understood even the language that we use when we teach each other.
Yeah.
Lezi izingoma. Ubona abantu bakhona masesihlangana uyafila ukuthi makanga explain music wakhe conceptual and philosophically ngesilungu akusiwo wangempela.
Oh, I see.
Kanti kudala abantu bakithi kunini kade baba ama-virtuos kudala bayawudlala music bangakawa explaining ngephepha. So the more these education systems, they seem to actively remove us from ourselves.
Yonela does quite a bit of teaching, and he does, he has for many years. Koni skolo la Eastern that
yes,
you were busy with. I don't know whether you're still busy. Is there a different way in which you teach, those kids, that come in to just widen their scope? And I know essentially you teach music, but what you're telling us, I can imagine, is inculcated into the teachings that you give them.
Well, the first way of teaching, you can never teach anybody music, but you can raise it. There is already music in themselves. You can just help them to reach out for the music inside them, from inside themselves by
raise the vibration,
by reaching for your own music from inside. So for me, I'm deciding to become an example to them, so that they can see that they will be examples to themselves. So that we take too much time explaining what we are doing than doing it.
Right.
So
I love that.
We
take too much time.
We've been explaining and planning this for almost 6 months.
Yes.
Just flip and do it.
Please say it again, Yonela.
We spend too much time explaining what we want to do than doing it.
Hey.
Because the more we do it, the more they will see the truth about it.
Yes.
Because we are assuming, people think that by explaining the attributes of something is to explain it in itself.
Yeah.
So I always tell them, it's like an example. If you take someone's arm and leg and put them together and put all the body parts, that will not bring a person to life. So the attributes are not the core. It's not an organic thing. So we have to change the way. We must teach it from the inside out.
So kuluma no moya manje, spiritually.
Yonke into iwona.
Iwumoya.
So if I say, man, the experience of that sound all that time,
yes,
is the very teaching of the music. So access is the important part than concept.
Thokoza Mnana. Hey. Yeah.
The colonization didn't just happen in everything else. It even is entrenched in the music. Because he says, umulalela ukuthi sasicula kanjani, even the way sicula ngakhona, even from our churches or just our heritage. From Dala, even the way we would sing and embrace each other, and just because we are a people of song, right?
We are.
We do it in a certain way.
In death, in happiness, in weddings, there's song.
There's song.
There's song.
Even in
Always.
struggle as well.
There's song. Yes.
But then it says, then the colonization came and made you believe, no, there's no type of notes are the ones, you know?
You know me now.
Yeah.
I was thinking, yesterday I was thinking about it. I think we assume that the music that we hear commercially is a representation of the music that is done in South Africa. And that's generally 2%.
Yeah.
There's so much sounds ezenziwa lapha emahostel nasemasontweni kunabantu abenza ama-sounds kuma-marching wathi lapha ema-army
Drum majorettes, yeah.
We seem to be speaking ingathi siyalamenta. There is so much hope because these things are still here. Our grannies are still here. Abantu emakhaya basekhona manje. We are the ones that has to go towards those places. We shouldn't think about it already as a lost thing.
Yeah.
There is so much hope because zikhona. We just have to choose. We have to go back and reclaim our archives. Zikhona lezi zinto konke uwama library kuma SABC nakuphi kuphi. We have to just force that we need to find the mara. It's harder for us to have that desire because we grew up being given music. We never wanted to go to it. We just react. Siya react ukuthi ngama 90s bekunezinto bezikhona ukuthi that's
Yeah, we share the song, boss.
yeah. Yabona? Besithi remember when it rained. You know, nabo what was it? I've been so many places in my life and time. Sang a lot of songs. I'm there, some bird crying. Acted out my life on stages. 10,000 people watching. But we're alone now, and I'm singing this song to you. So you still have
Hey, you're in freeze frame.
I'm in freeze frame because I'm just overwhelmed. Every time it busts into song, I just, that's how I've always admired Yonela.
Yeah,
Yes,
but I mean, he's just taking us through a history and progression, sort of, musically on this piano, and you wanted to reiterate something there.
No. I'm this thing is ukuthi we ngathini. Most of the things that we do is because of this. We react to situations we have not really acted.
Yeah.
Our musicality, our work, and our conception of ourselves has not necessarily been as a result of us going towards something. It's because we've been given. So that's another byproduct of colonization.
So samba squents.
That ugcina sowufunde ukubheka because awazi ukuthengisa inkwa.
Hey.
Not because you love baking.
Yes.
There's a difference. So ezinye izizwe, because they are free, by the time they do what they want to do, they do it because they chose to do it.
Tawaz.
So that it like the careers of being a teacher and being a nurse or whatever.
Yeah.
It's because someone had limited. First years is established that the career established what you should do to get to it. So Nati, the more we bring more options, the more we produce. Imagine how many graduates of music every year are churned by universities.
I imagine thousands, yeah?
But we don't have artists.
Department. Department.
No.
Department yenza njani?
Angisho department. Remember, education also is a business. So that's why I'm saying most of education, it takes you away from what you came for. So that's why we know kune music mine, we know kune music emakaya nasema hostel. We have to choose to go there, learn that stuff, and cherish it. And curricularizer and have an African Music Institute away from them. Why institutions that are not for us?
Because I mean they are still there. I mean, having said ukuthi abogogo nabomkhulu, they are still there. That we can learn from. Umadosini basapila. I was playing something, just a couple of days ago. Lapha emsakazweni kaDizwi plug namampondo. Majol, which is an old, Xhosa, folk tale song, and it just resonated with me in the most beautiful way.
Yeah, now that we were talking about yes, so there's those things like that. Hey, that's why I was doing a ngoma Mama Matotiela.
Yes. Udlala makoyana into what?
Yes, so yes. It's ilebe sikhuluma naye no Kenny laphana.
Yes.
So for me to move from that stuff to trying to say it brought me back to myself. So I think we just need, in the same way that we have been directed to the other musics.
Yes.
We need to have people not only that play this music, but people that set up these directions. Imagine if Begunamawa Awards or composer or music was a car.
Oh.
In the same way that there are summers.
Wouldn't that be beautiful?
That's why we need leaders that will set out the tone and the narrative for different directions that are for us. It's us. We have to do this thing.
Are we giving those platforms though?
But I think
we have to create. That's why you're here. You're doing this thing. We have to create these platforms now.
Sorry. Information has been decentralized.
Yeah.
We've got the internet, Konamanja.
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah, no, of course.
We did our thing at one point back in the day.
Yes,
we led the youth,
Yeah.
And right now, whether we like it or not, we are the leaders. We can't keep on pointing fingers to the politicians. I guess that's why we are on the internet now, and we have to lead.
That's another culture, Futi. We must talk about it, Guti. The history of our dispossessions, the more we always remember how dispossessed we are, we don't remember to reclaim ourselves, because we are still apportioning the blame a lot, and we need to. But we need to realize also that we have the responsibility to ourselves. Generation, to ourselves. If the system is a mess, then we must create another system. Imagine if all of us, if we have a problem with the industry.
Parallel system.
Mina futhi
asiyeni ngayo ke ngoba sivunyelwa ngithi ngapha kube ne parallel system esizoyiphusha ke siyiphushele
njengoba sesiqalile ne-African New Year
nje
ukuthi asinandaba le ngapha ayiqhubeke kodwa thina siqale enye ke ngapha
no mina I like, maybe we can even have a paramount system.
A paramount, you call it.
We don't have to mirror them.
Yes.
Because we don't know if that mirroring is a direction that is ours. We have to be completely like a sore thumb. We don't have to even parallel anything. Directionally, we must do something that move to our own shape. So even say, for example, we're doing different educational structures. We don't have to make grades. We must tailor make what we need for ourselves. That's all.
That's all.
I think I must also mention, guys, that anybody that is watching, we are about a week and a half, if not less than 2 weeks away from our tour to Inzalo Elanga, what people will call it the Adams calendar, under the leadership of Umkhulu Ntsingeza, who is the CEO of the Zinzi Mandela Foundation. We've all put our heads together to collaborate to make this dream happen, as famously known or made by our Ukoko Wetu, our great-grandparent. May soul rest in peace, Ukoko Credo Mutwa. Our first, my first encounter with the name Koko Credo Mutwa was through a book called Indaba, My Children, which Uput Mvulane here was the head editor of the Y magazine. Y magazine, I think it was, back in the day, we were still at YFM. YFM had its own magazine. Uput Mvulane here was not only an on-air personality and a DJ, radio DJ, and playing in the poetry space, including the hip-hop space, but he was also our head editor of Y magazine. And as a young person who was also new at YFM, I was one of those new, let me say, young people that were introduced to Koko Credo Mutwa through him. But now imagine he introduced me to that knowledge back then. And then now we've grown and we kind of feel Sbatala manje. We have to play our role.
Let's make these pilgrimages.
Pilgrimages,
you know, to these sacred spaces, you know, where we can just align our energy.
Well, yeah, you know, a pilgrimage is really a pilgrimage mostly to ourselves.
Yes.
These spaces are channels that will lead us to Tina.
Back to ourselves.
For me, music is that channel that helps us to find ourselves and to keep and may retain ourselves.
There's a beautiful song that says, I've been to so many places, but I've never been to me.
Yes, I've never been to me. Yeah,
I've never been to me. I've been so many places, but to me, you've never been.
But the knowledge of self is the highest form of education.
Yes.
Well, you know, I think even musically, what has been a problem is that now people think that we do music so that others can consume it. We do music so that we can nourish ourselves, Tina. That if it nourishes another person, it becomes a positive byproduct.
Self-nourishment. I love that.
Because Mauians expect to please another person. Then there's going to be a what is the thing? Maybe a system and a structure with no, but you can't, this is not going to sell. You understand that?
Yes.
It's a problem because you're imagining somebody else, but ngapha you're not failing. Imagine if you're pleasing yourself and you're making money in the process. That's what we need.
That's what we need indeed. Yonel, I think, let's wrap it up. Your studies are still ongoing.
Well,
you are working towards that. I think your doctorate, yes?
Yes, I'm slowly and surely. I think, Corona has coronad.
Yes, it has indeed.
And I think it affected us beyond the physical, you know. So we still have to get beyond the stage level 2 of our mental and psychological position.
Yeah. But that journey of yours still continues.
No, I'm still studying. We're doing a conference, I think, at Vets. I'm part of the panel at the end of September.
Yeah.
We're doing something. And of course, there's a show, like you were saying with Prahev, we're doing a show on Friday. And there's other things. I mean, the rest really of the information is on my Instagram and Facebook.
And what are your handles? What are those handles, Yonela? Teen handle yako fundi. Teen handle.
My handle is
by the
my
way,
name.
we've got 10 more minutes for it to be an hour.
No, it's fine. Yeah, my handle is my name, Yonela.
Maybe I'm enjoying him more. I want to be a little bit longer.
No, it's fine. I think, I'm enjoying myself as well. Yonela Mnana. And of course, the book is Yonela Mnana at Gmail.
Do you mind taking us back to ourselves? And for
as long as you want to.
Take us
10 minutes if you want to.
Take us somewhere, Yonela. Ladies and gentlemen, Yonela Mnana. So ihlahla. Niswemvula.
there was one of my favorite people is Baba, Themba Mkhize.
Ah, Baba Themba Mkhize, yes.
And he used to do this thing, akaphuza ushukela like that.
Ushukela lo maskani ngiyamkhumbula.
Yeah. Bekathi imangozlade makuse. Imangozlade makuse. Imangozlade makuse. Imangozlade makuse.
Bese kungena uthando.
Hayi uthando. Lelo ungehlule lomntoba manje uJohn.
Ah, umjolo. Hayi uthando.
Hayi uthando lelo ungehlule lomntoba manje. samthatha sambeka ekhaya wafike wakhala wathi my baba but wathi my baba wakhala wathi my baba wafike wakhala wathi my baba wafike wakhala Tula, tula, mama, tula, tula, mama, tula, tula, mama, tula, yeah, tula. Sometimes, wafika wakhala wathi my baba wakhala wathi my baba wathi my baba musukhala tu
Ladies and gentlemen, Yonela Mnana. Go buye kulunge. Khosi Camako. 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 Woo! Guys.